Solana Beach and Encinitas are the only two cities in San Diego County to ban plastic bags. Now Solana Beach may be the first to ban polystyrene, food containers more commonly known by the brand name Styrofoam. Joining me with the details is Solana Beach Council member Peter Zahn, who proposed the ordinance. And Peter, why do you want to ban these polystyrene or plastic foam containers?
Well, Peggy, first of all, the city of Solana Beach, we have environmental sustainability as a key strategic objective for our city. But also, these containers cause so much harm in terms of getting into the food supply, the oceans, the litter on our beaches, and the like, that the benefits just do not outweigh the costs.
The benefits of using them. Now, Styrofoam and other polystyrene containers, they're not biodegradable. Are they recyclable?
Really, they are not recyclable except in very limited circumstances, which no one can achieve. And that is that these containers need to have virtually zero food contamination or food residue. So there are no equipment that can handle recycling these unless they're like crystal clear.
So what happens if you put them into your recycling bin?
Well, basically, they get packed up ultimately by the waste hauler with the regular refuse, unfortunately, and they often get shipped to China and other places.
What are some of the alternatives to Styrofoam or polystyrene, which is the generic name?
Well, if you go into a lot of restaurants these days, and in fact in Solana Beach, out of the 62 restaurants there, all but 18 have switched out of these styrofoam, polystyrene materials. There's reinforced cardboard type materials. This one actually came from Whole Foods. And there are also a lot of plant-based alternatives now. They're just as effective as
kind of
polystyrene.
that cornstarch we've seen for
That's
a while.
right. There are several more coming on the market, but the existing ones are fine.
Now, who would this ordinance apply to if it passes?
So this will apply to food preparers, restaurants and grocery stores and the like, who make food in some way and package it into containers. Often you'll see with your takeout food in those clam lid containers that you'll take home. But for those 15 minutes that you have the benefit of, and you get it home into your fridge, it might stay overnight, then these will last hundreds of years after that in our landfills and elsewhere and getting into our oceans.
Now, what about the criticism that this ban or switching over will cost businesses money?
Well, our city staff looked into this, and in fact, we found some increased difference in cost between the polystyrene and the substitute materials, but they're really insignificant. And keep in mind, we now have 90 cities that have done this in the state of California, and there's very little evidence of any detrimental financial effect on the businesses.
So 90 cities in California, this would be the first in San Diego County.
That is right.
I see. Now, Solana Beach does have one waste company that processes styrofoam or polystyrene, but what's the issue with that waste production plant?
So our commercial hauler, Edco, good company, but they really don't have the equipment. It's just very expensive and it's hard to put into effect. It can apply to the larger styrofoam containers that you might see, or materials that might come with TV sets and that kind of thing sometimes, but overall it is still not effective and just not cost effective for them to do it.
How effective is this container ban, do you think it would be if all the cities around you are still using styrofoam or the polystyrene containers? Well,
that's a great question. We know that our effect will be somewhat limited, but we also know that as others consider bans of this type, they'll look to our example and they will take away some real positive benefits. We're going to see some immediate great effects in terms of the amount of litter on our beaches, and of course there are the health benefits as well. They're harder to quantify, but absolutely real.
Well, the ordinance needs approval in its second reading. The first one, it was approved. Are you confident it's going to pass?
I'm pretty confident. We passed it 4-1 in the vote last Wednesday, and in this case, I don't see any reason that any of us would change our minds. It's possible it could happen, but it's a rare event for it too, so I'm very confident.
All right, well, we'll be following the story at kpbs.org. Solana Beach Council member Peter Zahn, thank you.
Thanks so much.